organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up this morning on Daily Iowan TV, Empowerment Summit. Find out how one student org is uniting students. And later, how Iowa student government is standing with undocumented students.
The weather for the rest of the week is expected to be warmer.
Learn who the 2 additions to the Iowa football roster are later in sports and meet the new Friday pitcher for Iowa baseball team.
All that and more coming up. Daily Iowan TV starts now. Good morning and thanks for tuning in to another live edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Ryan Scott. A Cedar Rapids man has been arrested in connection to last week's shooting at Pheasant Ridge apartment complex in Iowa City. A warrant was issued for 20-year-old Darius Davison. He was found and taken into custody by U.S. Marshals in Bloomington, Illinois early Tuesday morning. According to Iowa City Police, he is facing attempted murder charges. Davison is scheduled to be transported to the Johnson County Jail pending his extradition from Illinois. The victim of the shooting remains in stable condition at the University of Iowa hospitals. Early Tuesday morning, a new cruise missile Russia deployed a new cruise missile that American officials are saying violates a landmark arms control treaty. This new Russian missile deployment comes at a vulnerable time for the Trump administration that is trying to fill key policy positions regarding national security. This missile dates back to the Obama administration, who tried to persuade Russia to correct the violation during the testing phase. Russia instead decided to move ahead and deploy a fully operational unit. This further tested the relationship between the U.S. and Russia. With tensions high on campus for a number of reasons, student groups held an event last week to empower university students. Daily Iowan TV reporter Chris Cervantes has more.
Last Saturday marked a rather interesting day for the IMU. The student group Being Black at Iowa sponsored its first ever empowerment seminar. This one-day experience was designed to pack in a full day of events ranging from lectures to etiquette lunches with the goal to promote self-care and the expansion of skills. This event was not only open to the students and faculty of the university, but it also welcomed several esteemed guests, all of which spoke at a special panel. Said panel was one of many highlights of the summit, with speakers ranging from grad students to published writers. It marked a trend of passionate presenters speaking eloquently and a captive audience listening intently.
It was great to be able to be in the room with colleagues and just having a conversation with the students to talk about their success and ways to give them some sense of themselves, but also so that we could mirror who we are and they could see themselves in us.
We are all people together here, and that it's very important to support the brown and black people who live and thrive in Iowa City and go to this university, because we're all trying to have those lovely, compassionate communities together, and we can't do that unless we understand who we are as people and how we come into these spaces together.
With this being the first of what seems like a trend, the future BBI summits are shaping up to be events to look forward to. Reporting from the Iowa Memorial Union, this is Chris Cervantes, Daily Iowan TV.
After nearly 40 years, a man was convicted of the kidnapping and killing of 6-year-old Eaton Patz. Patz was the first missing child to appear on milk cartons across the U.S. in the early 1980s. 56-year-old Pedro Hernandez was previously tried in court in 2015, but the judge ruled a mistrial following a jury member's holdout. Prosecutors worked to bring Hernandez back to trial this year after uncovering more information that would lead to his conviction. After 9 days of deliberation among the jury, Hernandez was found guilty of murder. Hernandez faces a maximum sentence of 25 years to life, and his sentencing hearing will take place this month. Iowa City teachers may be getting less money than they are used to. On Monday, the Iowa City Community School Board approved pay and benefit increases that are much lower than those seen in previous years. This decision comes on the heels of debate over Iowa's collective bargaining laws. Next year, teachers and other staff's wage and benefit packages will be increased anywhere from 1.76 to 2.28%. This range is more than a full percent lower on each end than last year. Teacher salaries will see an increase of only 2.25% compared to 3.71% from last year. School board and union leaders said this agreement will be implemented until June 30th of 2019. Well, FA, I know walking around campus yesterday, it felt more like spring than winter. Tell me we've got some more warm weather coming our way.
Yep, thanks Ryan. The sun has been out for the past few days and it seems the temperature will remain pretty warm, which is really exciting. This morning and into the afternoon, expect temperatures at 40 degrees. As the day progresses, temperatures will drop to 26 degrees with clear conditions overnight. Tomorrow morning, the temperature will be warm at 52 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Now taking a look at the rest of the week, starting on Friday, we'll start off with the weather in the 60s with a low in the 40s. Over the weekend, temperatures will remain constant with a high in the 60s and a low in the 40s. Early next week, temperatures will still be in the 60s with a 70% chance of rainfall expected on Monday. So definitely keep that in mind. It really looks like Iowa City will be having a beautiful week, but one city in California may see more weather heading their way. The Oroville Dam in California is looking at water levels dropping, and authorities lifted the mandatory evacuation order last night, allowing the 188,000 residents to return to their homes. Unfortunately, though, rainfall is in the forecast, and they are looking at what could be 5 to 12 inches, which will likely result in billions of gallons of water being pushed back into Lake Oroville. This may lead to more problems for the community, but stick with us at Daily Iowan TV for more coverage in the following week. Back to you, Ryan, at the desk.
Thanks, AFA. Students in the University of Iowa student government passed a resolution Tuesday agreeing to stand with undocumented and deferred action for child arrival students at the UI. The DACA program was put in place by the Obama administration in 2012 and has recently come under fire by President Trump. Under DACA, select students were given deportation relief and a 2-year work permit. UI student government plans to stand in solidarity with these students and will continue to show support for the Bridge Act, a law that would lengthen the time DACA students are allowed to stay in the country. The UI also joined with the Association for Big Ten Schools by passing a similar resolution. The Spring 2017 Engineering Career Fair was held on Tuesday, February 14th from 12 to 4 p.m. in the main lounge of the Iowa Memorial Union. Students were given the chance to network with companies who are looking to hire interns and full-time employees.
We start with promoting this to students from the time they get here as first years all the way up until graduation to understand what it's like to network with employers, beginning making connections in industry. We have a really active Society of Women Engineers chapter, a really active Women in Science and Engineering organization. A lot of employers target those groups directly and do presentations to the females. We do a lot of outreach in the College of Engineering, the K-12 level to get female students more interested in the STEM field.
Some companies from the fair will return to do on-campus interviews throughout the semester. For more information on these interviews, visit careers.uiowa.edu/hirehawk. Well, I heard the Iowa football team has made a couple new additions to their coaching staff. Let's toss it over to Liv Corbett in the sports studio to find out more.
Yeah, Ryan, always fun getting back into football. Right after head coach Kirk Ferentz announced 2 additions to the coaching staff on Tuesday. Tim Polsak will have the new offensive line coach after serving as the offensive coordinator and running backs coach at North Dakota State University the past 3 seasons. The new wide receivers coach will be Kelton Copeland, who previously coached at Northern Illinois the past 4 seasons. Football season might seem far away right now, but spring practice is a little over a month away, beginning on March 22nd for the spring game taking place on Friday, April 21st. Now, the Iowa wrestling team just wrapped up their regular season after defeating Nebraska on Senior Day, and the Hawkeyes will have another top 25 matchup this weekend in the NCAA Division I Dual Series.
This Saturday, the Hawkeyes will travel to Pennsylvania to take on number 24 Edinboro as a part of the Division I National Dual Series. However, not all the Hawkeyes are too excited for how the series is set up.
Last year it was a mess. I didn't want to do it, but we had teams come to us, so I couldn't not do it. I had to be a good sport. And you know what? We got to travel this year, so that's why we're doing it. It can be a good concept. We saw them 4 years ago, and it was a beehive, and we got to be ready to go. It is a different style. It's a fun atmosphere there. I was teammates with Bruce Baumgartner, who's a legend in the sport. He's the athletic director there. I know he's fired up to have Iowa again. And, you know, we have Cliff Moore out there, and the assistant coach, right-hand man to Tim Flynn. And Cliff Moore was a Hawkeye alum, national champion. So they're going to have their team ready.
This duel has special meaning for one of the Hawkeyes. Senior Thomas Gilman wrestled his first duel at Edinboro his freshman year and is now wrestling his last duel there as well as a Hawkeye.
My very first duel, and we went in there and I got punched in the mouth, and it was a close duel, closer than it should have been. So we got to be ready for those guys. You know, they kind of gave Oklahoma State all they could handle, and they're going to try to do the same to us. So we got to be ready to go. Urgency's got to be high. Because, you know, they're going to be fired up. It's going to be Hornets' Nest in there, bringing Iowa in there especially.
With a win on Saturday, the Hawkeyes would move to 8-0 all-time versus Edinboro. Reporting from outside Carver Hawkeye Arena, this has been Lucy Rodine, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
You can watch the duel live Saturday at 6 p.m. on FlowWrestling.com. The men's track and field team are now ranked number 16 in the U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Association National Team Computer Rankings. The Hawkeyes jumped 16 spots in the rankings to a program best after their performances at the Iowa State Classic and Tyson Invitational. Senior Aaron Mallett ranks 4th nationally and 1st in the Big Ten in the 60-meter hurdles, and the team's 4x400 meter relay is one of the best in the country. Last weekend, they broke Iowa's school record with a time of 3:05.62 to place 8th in the country. Iowa baseball is just days away from the start of their season and will be opening up with Iowa City's very own Nick Gallagher. He will be taking the mound for his first start of the season with the Hawkeyes this Friday. Mary Kate Harrian has more on the hometown pitcher.
Iowa City native Nick Gallagher will take the mound as the Friday starter for this season, as he is expected to fill in the big shoes of last season's top pitcher, Tyler Payton.
Nick's a great story, come a long way, and has worked extremely hard. And I would tell you that the reason he is, you know, going to be our Friday night guy this year is because of his work ethic and his makeup. He has great stuff. Come, like you said, a long, long way. Last year, put up some really good numbers, big numbers, in mainly a relief role, and we think he has or is ready to go as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, it helped a lot. Anytime you grow a couple inches and put on some weight, that helps with velocity and everything like that. I still am kind of growing a little bit, so I guess I'm still trying to grow into my body, but definitely getting stronger, and that's helping me a lot on the mound.
Gallagher will be followed on Saturday by former Friday starter C.J. Eldred. Eldred has had a team best 7 quality starts in 2 complete games, and he has also been a major role model for Gallagher as he is preparing to step into a leadership role for this year's team.
I mean, I learned a lot from C.J. last year. He was a big role model for me. He didn't even come into the year last year starting and ended up being our Friday guy, and like I said, he did a great job for us, keeping us in games. And obviously I've learned a lot from him because he's learned a lot from his dad. Being around baseball his whole life, he knows a lot of the ins and outs of the game, and that definitely helps me.
I think we have the chance to be one of the best 1-2 punches in the country. I really do. Kid's worked hard. He's come a long ways, especially since freshman year. But I'm really excited to see what we can do 1-2 punch, and we got a lot of options for Sunday too.
Gallagher will take the mound this upcoming Friday for his first start this season as the Hawks take on South Florida in Tampa. Reporting from Dwayne Banks Field, this has been Mary Kate Harrian for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
It will definitely be very interesting to see how this weekend goes for the Hawks as they added 18 new players this season. So tune in on Monday for updates on the results and also on how Gallagher's first start of the season went. Tune in tomorrow for an update on the women's basketball team and a preview of their game tomorrow. We will also introduce you to a new addition to the baseball team. Ryan, back to you.
Thanks, Liv. In honor of Valentine's Day, 2 nonprofit organizations joined together to start a movement for immigrants in America. Define American and Iowan Immigrants started a social media campaign to write love letters dedicated to immigrants. The hashtag Immigrants with Love started on Twitter to publicly acknowledge that they are standing with immigrants no matter what. The campaign led to more than 12,000 tweets being posted with celebrities and politicians showing their support. And that wraps up another live edition of Daily Iowan TV. Head on over to dailyiowan.com for complete coverage of everything happening in Iowa City. And be sure to pick up a copy of the Daily Iowan. From Daily Iowan TV, I'm Ryan Scott. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day, Iowa City.